Hi, I'm Marc Raco, and this is the best interview I ever had. Thanks for listening. So, what kind of people and conversations can you expect on this podcast? I'm so glad you asked. As we prepare this new podcast for our official launch, I've been reflecting on some of the greatest interviews I've had the pleasure and honor of participating in over the last 10 years. As I've reflected, a few of them have come to mind as being particularly memorable, and I'd like to share a few of them with you. Here's one of them. Judy Gold, the bold and stand-up comedian, actress, podcaster, Emmy-winning television writer, author, and producer, has been in the entertainment business for nearly 4 decades. And she has some very strong feelings about why comedy must not be silenced or governed, and how comedians are defending their very existence ferociously.
It's never been like this. It's never been, you support this, ideology or this politician, so I can't laugh at anything you say.
It's interesting because that's actually weirdly, I think it's being undertaken under the assumption that's a position of strength, but it's actually a reflection of great weakness. The strength is in the ability to take a shot. And It's so interesting. I have a question for you, Judy. When, if at all, have you gone through a transformation from, let's say, being a comic to being a wielder of humor?
Well, I am a comic. Of course. I eat, breathe. I can't wait to get on stage. It's all I do. I'm here in Providence. I'm doing shows twice a week outside. I just feel like I feel sad about it. The most edgy, subversive comics saying, "Oh, do you think I'm going to get in trouble for this?" And I'm like, people evolve and things aren't as funny because things have different meanings. I'm not going to say that doesn't happen. Don Rickles would never make it today. But if you went back and you were sitting there, you were begging to be mocked by Don Rickles because he had this caustic warmth. And he basically was like, "You're this, you're that, we're all the same." And everyone knew that's what his intent was, and that's where he came from. Now, a lot of the vocabulary he used is not okay now. And that's okay, because he was fine for his time. This idea where the whole book came about because I did a piece for HBO's Vice News about college bookers telling comedians what they can and cannot say on stage. And these kids, because they are kids, were saying, we need to protect the students so they don't feel uncomfortable. Where the fuck did this idea that no one can feel uncomfortable come from? What the fuck is that? That is not reality. It's like not this whole thing about everyone getting a trophy. You get a trophy because you won the race and you broke the record, and you get a trophy for smiling while he did it. No, that's not the way the world fucking works. Sorry. What's this protection from everyone having a bad feeling? No. Every safe space has a door to the real world, okay? I don't understand it, No. And it's really upsetting to work all these years. And, also writing the book made me even more passionate about it because you see what the Lenny Bruces, the Richard Pryors, the George Carlin, the Joan Rivers, these people really sacrificed a lot so that we could say whatever we want on stage. The Smothers Brothers, Amen. There's a whole chapter about the Smothers Brothers. Mm-hmm. What they went through for us to get to this point, and now you're telling me, no, that's offensive. First of all, if I want to do a joke about the AIDS crisis, I can, because I lived through it. So don't tell me that that's not a topic I can't talk about, And this is what's happening. These young kids are saying, no, we can't talk about that. Well, you know what? When you have no discourse, there's no growth. So stop shutting people down.
Judy, kind of interesting to hear you talk about this, this whole next generation of comedians coming up in the ranks, if you will, in this moment facing this different set of challenges or perhaps a new generation of these types of challenges. My question is, you wrote this book, and I'm sure that you have something to say to comedians that you run into who are younger, that are looking for, that insight from you. But how are you seeing, if at all, the seasoned comedians that are out there? How are you seeing evidence of them trying to pave the way in this moment for that next generation?
Well, I think all we can do is do our work as best as we can. But there is sort of an arrogance in this idea that this word is politically incorrect. This is not, you're not allowed to say this. There's a little bit of an arrogance. Who the fuck are you? If you don't like my jokes, then don't listen to me. If, it's like, turn the channel, turn off the radio. If you don't like a song on the radio, you change the station. You don't say that person should never write another song or never sing another song. But that's what happens with comedians. The younger generation, look, you become a better comic the more life experience you have and the less fearful you are. I mean, like, I could give a shit at this point. I mean, like, there's nothing I haven't heard. You're not going to humiliate me. I've been humiliated over and over. I've heard every nasty fucking, it's just like, I don't care. I am funny. I know. And this is what I do. And I really do believe you need life experience to be a great comic. You need a point of view. You also need to get on stage all the time, but you do need to respect what came before you. And I feel that sometimes there's a lack of that reverence for the past and the people who paved the way for you, and the being judgmental, and think of the topics that some of these people talk about. They don't want to talk about race or homophobia or anti-Semitism, or anything, but they want to talk about porn. Hello?
I'll be back soon with another memorable interview moment. Please be sure and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere you find your very best podcasts, so you hear every moment. And you can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at Best Interview Pod, and on Twitter at Listen Subscribe. Thanks so much for joining me, and see you soon.